The first time since 1993 that Cork will take home the Ladies Intercounty Championship. I think they're just waiting for the final moment and then the elation of winning a National Intercounty Championship on home soil again, as they did in 1993.
Yeah, I mean it's great for the likes of Claire Daly and or Claire Flynn and Anne Daly, who've been on numerous teams that just haven't managed it.
And it's good with this particular lady coming back after a sizable absence from pitch and putt, and that's Eleanor Walsh. And this is a great moment for Cork.
I think it shows as well, Alan, that this game is a game for all ages. I mean, Eleanor's been missing out of the game for close on 10, 12 years, and to come back and be able to, admittedly after a lot of effort, that's a pitch to 18.
Well, that's the coup de grace. That's a fantastic way to sign off on an Intercounty Championship.
You couldn't ask for any more than
And
that.
the crowd really liked that one. Ger Ward's last pitch of the 2010 Intercounty Championships.
Little long.
Slightly big, awkward chip from there.
Not easy now, this one.
This should run down to the hole. Oh, she's almost got that perfect.
Get in,
oh, how did that stop? That was a brilliant chip from a true champion of the game.
Another inch, Ger, another inch, not even.
Well played, Ger. Well played. So the scene is left for Eleanor to finish off what has been a great day for Cork ladies pitch and putt, and a good start to the weekend for Cork in general, with the men being hot favourites for tomorrow's championship.
Get a good view of this shot now. Shouldn't move very much at all. Great pitch from Eleanor, and
Yeah, and it just creeps in.
that's great. Well done to Cork.
I'm joined by a member of the winning team, Claire O'Flynn. Claire, how's it feel? Cork's first win in 17 years. How does it feel?
Absolutely brilliant in front of the home crowd, Ellen. It's words can't describe how it feels today now. I've been playing in the Cork team myself, probably the year after we won it last I played. So I've been on seconds and thirds, but winning it, there's nothing like it at all. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great achievement in another way, because it's broken the domination of Dublin Kildare. That's a 15-year run that Dublin Kildare, either those teams have won, and now you've broken that domination. You have been coming good though. I mean, you were second and you've been third and you've been second, so you've been building up to this, haven't you?
We've been there and thereabouts, and we've been in the top three for a good while, but it's taken a long time to get Dublin and Kildare off the pedestal. Hopefully we're on it now, and it'll take another while to get us off of it.
Yeah, that's true. What was the course? It was playing very difficult, wasn't it?
The wind made it very, very hard today. Now the course was in brilliant condition. The greens were just immaculate. They were holding nicely, but the wind made a big difference today.
And in the end, although it's not easy to say this sometimes, but you did win quite comfortably in the end for an Inter-County Championship.
We did, and has to be noted this year as well, we were without Siobhan Scannell, one of our top players in the last years, who's always scored well for us. We were without her this year. Hopefully she'll be back next year and just make us that little bit stronger again.
I'm joined by two members of the Kildare team, which finished second today. Christy Byrne, who's the current world pitch and putt champion, ladies champion, and her sister Margaret. Well, it didn't really happen for you today. You didn't get off to the start that you would have wanted.
Absolutely, Alan. Our foursomes today we kind of struggled, but we had a good recovery in the singles. But we think it's great for Cork to win. It's great for pitch and putt to see a new winner on the Intercounty Cup.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I mean, you have been so much part and parcel of the dominating ladies pitch and putt for the last 15 years. I mean, both of these girls have been on the Kildare team that have won 8 times since 1997, the National Intercounty Championship. Margaret, the singles, you had to pick it up. You were a good bit behind.
We did, and I think we did well, Alan. You know, we really picked it up in the singles, but I think the doubles killed us first today. You know, then again with the foursomes, new this year, it was very tough. You know, pitching every second ball, we just couldn't get going. It didn't happen first.
How much was the wind a factor?
Not so much. The pitching I don't think was the toughest part of the game out there. We found the putting very tricky. The greens are so slick. They're a credit to grounds people here. This kind of touch putting, they just didn't drop for us today.
To all the competitors and all the county boards. The county boards for the manner in which they had their teams turned out, and the competitors, the manner in which they conducted themselves and got on with play, and we had absolutely no problems out there today, so thank you all very much. I'd like to congratulate all the winners, and I suppose it's a cliche now, commiserate with the losers, but really and truly, if only 3 teams turned up here today, it would be no competition. So all competitors here today are winners in their own right. So thank you very much.
This is as happy now as I get. And this is as much emotion that I will show, but I am a very, very proud captain today. Very, very proud.
Well, the 2010 National Intercounty Ladies Championship has come to an end, and we have new champions. The domination of Kildare and Dublin for the last 15 years has finally been broken, and the winners are the host county, Cork. Can we say we're surprised? This team has been coming for the last 3 or 4 years. They've been second, third, second, but it's the manner of their victory that is really, really impressive. They had the lead after the foursomes by 5 shots. We asked the question, could they keep ahead of Dublin? Kildare came back strongly, but this Cork team had the maturity, they held on and they increased their lead to win by a very, very impressive 15 shots. There'll be some great celebrations in North Cork tonight with the new champions. It's Cork's first win in 17 years, so congratulations to the Cork Ladies Intercounty team.
Welcome to the National Intercounty Championships Day 2 of the Gents in the fantastic St Anne's course in Cork in Ireland. The weather is spectacular, the wind has dropped away, and we are ready for fantastic entertainment today. Beautiful conditions. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I think today is history in the making. I can't see beyond this Cork team winning this championship, and I think today's the day it's going to happen.
Okay, let's go on the course and have a look at this. One of the big issues with pitch and putt as well, apart from the speed of the greens, is the deceptive nature of the greens and the slopes that they come on. These greens would be more severe breaking than normal golf greens. And as an example of this, I have a relatively straight looking putt here that I'm just going to show you how much they break on a pitch and putt course. As you can see, the ball came right across the hole there.
Well, Waterford will be the first team to get us away today, and their playing partners are Kildare. There's Frank Ryan on the first for Kildare, chipping up short, but it's straight uphill putt for a 3 from that. Well, Frank, what do you think? I mean, the format is going to be interesting today. I mean, that's the only thing I see that could give this Cork team any difficulty at all.
Yeah, we discussed this yesterday as well, Alan. I mean, the ladies certainly found the format unbelievably difficult. I think the gents standard is slightly different. That's a good shot from Dublin, but from Georgia Grill there. But it's very, very difficult. Is there a debate to be made about having it as Scotch foursomes?
Oh, there is a strong debate to be made. I think the problem with the current foursomes format, i.e. every second shot, it cuts down the amount of play that players are getting to play in an inter-county championship. And I mean, there is only one national inter-county championship every year, and so you'd like to get a bit of playing in it, you know. So good putt by Derek Courtney on the first, and there's the great man just hitting a great putt. But going back to that point, I think one thing that lends itself to making the foursomes very difficult on this particular course is the actual course itself. I don't think it lends itself to making it easy at all for any of these players. Scotch foursomes, I think, would be my preferred choice, but that debate's going to go on for a long time yet.
Yeah, like we said, players only get to actually play 27 holes, 27 pitches in the course of a day to decide a national championship. I think it's not enough. And I know there's a debate saying that because of the situation with Cork being dominant at the moment, that this was more of a leveller. But I think what's a bigger issue is the fact that there's 6 players in the singles now where there wasn't before. And like you said yesterday, I think that's going to make a huge difference.
former national champion Liam O'Donovan from Limerick on the first.
That's how
He's
to do
always
it.
been very good at that aspect of the game, the chipping game.
Yeah.
There's the Wexford team looking in, just the sing, and they're waiting to go.
It's good to see the range of
Thomas.
youth and more experienced players as well playing the game, and that's one of the advantages.
That's Thomas Hanley from Brough in County Limerick playing the first. Wally Sheridan partnering the great Sean Downs for Meath on the first, getting a great putt there. Brian Webster from Tipperary, putting more or less straight up the hill, I would think.
He's a huge grip on that putter there. Did you see that?
Oh, it turned lovely in, yeah. Yeah, I just go back to that debate. I think at the end of the day, it'd be very interesting to see if the purpose of this competition in the format it was to bring the better teams back to the lesser teams. Well, we'll know at the end of the day with the scores. 1987 National Match Play Champion Johnny Campbell Senior knocks in, always a great putter he has been. He won that championship in Cork and Lakewood in 1987.
I was there. Paul O'Brien,
Member of the Irish World Cup winning team in 2008 from Tipperary. Strikes in for a putt.
Nice solid putt there. Lovely day again here today. Beautiful.
Just looking at that, there's a bit of dew around. Is that going to affect any of the play at all? Do you think? Because I'm sure there's a bit of skill on the greens. No.
No, the greens would have been swished
Swept.
early this morning and would have been cut first thing this morning as well. So it gives a great leveler. If you're off the greens, you could be in a bit of trouble with the dew and just it. But no, I don't think that's going to play a big issue. It's just a lovely morning.
Oh, it's a fantastic morning here.
Billy
Left-hander Billy Farrell for Limerick. That's just gone a small bit past that hole.
Man with the cap. Alan, when we're talking, I mean, we've mentioned Liam O'Donovan, we've mentioned the number of players already. Is it just me, or is everybody a national champion at this game? Because we seem to be mentioning guys left, right and centre who've won national stroke plays and match plays. There's another one now. Mark Miller is a double national match play champion. You don't hear that in golf. I mean, in golf you hear about a guy who won a master or the odd master or the odd thing. But every second player here seems to be a national champion. How does that happen?
Well, I'm not so sure that you don't hear that in golf. I think if you go down through golf, it's a lot of the players are a lot of similar player names you hear that have won various different tournaments. I think first of all, there's a lot of players who have been playing a long time in Ireland at the very top level in pitch and putt, and also you've got to look at the sport itself in terms of how it provides a long career for somebody. If you want to play this particular sport and if you want to get to the top level, you can certainly be at the top of this game from a very early age on, from 18, 19 years of age, as in the case of Mark Miller, whom you just mentioned. There's a player who, you know, was a young national champion, and he could be another national champion again. He could win a national championship possibly in 20 years' time. You can go all the way up to 60, I would believe, in this particular sport. At the highest level. So I think you're going to hear a lot of similar names being mentioned, but I suppose I slightly deviated from your question. Yes, I think you got to remember, we're talking about the best players from every county in Ireland representing their county, so therefore they have to have some sort of pedigree coming into this particular tournament. A lot of them are national champions, a lot of them are provincial champions, and a lot of them are their county champions. We're talking about the creme de la creme in Ireland, and by definition, if I want to throw it out there, you're talking about some of the best players in the world on the show at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the world. We'll talk about it now. Actually, the World Cup winner here, Paul O'Brien, and Sean Downs there, who's multiple national champion from the last number of years. I mean, this game is played across the world. Ireland, are they? I believe Ireland are the best in the world. Are they?
I think it would be. From historically up to now, and based on championships won, i.e. all the European championships that have been played since 1999, up to this particular moment in time, Ireland have won all of those European championships. Now the World Championships, there's been 3 World Championships. Ireland didn't compete in the first one. We went to the second one and we suffered a shock defeat at the time, taught by many when we lost to Andorra in the semi-final. and Catalonia went on to become world champions. We redressed that balance in 2008 in Papendal in Holland, where the team of Paul O'Brien, and
Derek
Courtney and Ray Murphy,
yeah.
all of whom are playing today, as we can see, won the World Championship for Ireland. So at this moment in time, you can argue that Ireland are the best, but there is absolutely no doubt, and we should be aware of it, that the Catalonian team are an exceptional team, and they're very much capable of. They're very close to us.
And here's Ray Murphy, greatest player ever to play the game in Ireland. And that's why.
That's why, just on cue.
Well done, Ray, you didn't leave it down.
He's partnering Thomas Lynch, is he?
Yeah, that's Thomas Lynch. Cork that's the beauty about Cork. They've such a mixture of vast experience, even for young men like Ray Murphy and John Walsh. And then they have Thomas Lynch, Brian Delaney, John Cahill as well. I mean, they're young lads too, and it's a great ball there on the tough 10th hole.
What do you put that down to? There's two things I'd like to say before you answer that. I mean, in many ways, I think anybody in Ireland won't argue that Cork is the spiritual home of pitch and putt, especially in this country. I mean, the developments of pitch and putt go back as far as the 40s, but not just in Ireland. It would be wrong to think we just developed the sport in Ireland. There's been pitch and putt courses across the world that have been built right through the United States, Canada, all the various countries, Britain, even in Europe, have developed these small pitch and putt courses. What the Irish have done is we developed it as a sport, put a structure on it. When the Pitch and Putt Union formed back in 1960 in Clonmel, in County Tipperary, we put a structure on it, because prior to that there were two forms of the game: the shorter game, which you still see a version of in Munster, and a much longer game was then in Leinster. And then the unions came together in 1960, and now we have the Pitch and Putt Union of Ireland was formed, and we have pitch and putt in its current format in Ireland, as we see it today. The most important thing for us going forward is to develop the sport, not just here, but we need to develop it abroad as well. And I think that's its appeal to. There's a great appeal for this sport because so many people can play it.
Well, I've described in numerous occasions, I've described the sport as the most accessible competitive sport in the world. You literally can go out tomorrow morning, join your local club, and you can play in a national match play tournament and be drawn, or lucky or unlucky enough to be drawn against the best players in the world tomorrow. You don't need any specialised equipment. You don't need. It's very accessible and easy to learn and to play. Now, to get to the finer end of it is a bit difficult, but you can do it. And what's important as well is you can do it from young Mark Miller, who 18 years of age, up to Johnny Campbell, who was not in the first sprig of youth. And you can play this game for 40 years and at the highest level. And that's what I think makes it different. And you can play it as competitively as you like. And you can play against the best players in the world. The reason why Cork is so good, in my opinion, is because of two players, Ray Murphy and John Walsh, who literally raised the standard by their own internal competitiveness with each other, but they raised the standard for everybody else. And for the rest of the Cork lads to compete against them, week in, week out, they had to match their standard. And I think it's like a tide raising all boats. I think they brought it up.
I think that you struck on one thing which is very important. I think you had more than one player in Cork that raised the standard.
Yes.
And I think that meant there was competition, and that competition is ultimately competitive in Cork, as you watch Ray pitching the 8-hole. However, I just would like to ask, there's been a number of players throughout the years in the history of pitching that have raised the standard, and the one that stands out for me when I was growing up, who raised the bar for everyone in the country at the time, I thought was David Hayden from our county at the time. He was just phenomenal at his time when he won his national championships. Yeah. And fair enough, he was probably on his own at the time. And then Sean Downs took up the mantle for me, who's playing here today, one of the truly great players of all time. Arguably up there. I mean, there would be an argument from some people that Sean Downs is up there with Ray Murphy, and it would be hard to debate that. But currently, I would agree with Ray is currently probably the greatest player we've ever had.
But look at it, Alan, right? David Hayden was in the 80s, right? Sean Downs was in the 90s. Ray Murphy's was in the noughties, for want of a better word. And all of those guys are physically here right now, and they're playing right now and playing against each other still. I mean, for 30 years on, for players to be playing at the highest standard in the world is a testament to the sport. That's John Cahill. He's one of the Cork stars. Ray Murphy with a similar putt. Best putter in the world by a mile, as he lets me down badly and misses one.
But I mean, I think this course is going to catch a lot of people out today on putting, because it's so tricky, I think, for putting today.
Well, that 10th hole now is particularly tough as well. Foursomes at the moment, just to fill you in on where we are with the foursomes. Foursomes are progressing nicely, but they're very tight. I mean, Cork are on a number. We're only a few under par at the moment. They're not running away with it by any means. So maybe the foursomes as a leveller is coming in. Dublin, Kerry, Meath just finished their round there in 11 under par. They're doing exceptionally well. It's very, very tight. Maybe that's what the fathers who decided that this game was going to be changed this year, they've done, and maybe they were right in having it in this format so that it's tighter.
The nature of the St. Anne's pitch and putt course is going to pose problems for the best players in the world here today. One of the things they're going to have to face is that despite the many, many wonderful tee shots that you're going to see here today, not all the balls are going to stay on the green. The nature of the slope of the course, the speed of the greens is going to take the ball in many cases away from the hole. Once they're off the green, how do they approach their next shot? One of the things they have to have in their armoury is their ability to chip a golf ball. What happens here? We're just off the green here. You could take out a putter, you could take out a chipper. This is off the green, so invariably it's probably a little bit easier to chip a golf ball. Now, one of the standard things in pitch and putt as opposed to golf, in golf most chips tend to be a little bit flatter, people tend to swing right through the club. The danger here with such slopey greens is you're going to have to be able to spin the ball, to control the ball. So what tends to happen with pitch and putt players is they usually just stand a little bit in front of the ball, go down the shaft of the club with their thumbs wrapped around, address the ball, pick their target, and then what they're going to try and do is literally just check and hood the club into the ball like this, and then they're just going to release it like that.
It's not likely to miss chips, Alan. Very unimpressed there.
It's leaving it short that I have the problem with it.
The foursomes are progressing nicely again as we speak. This is Kerry.
They're going steady, but I mean, the one thing I noticed from the foursomes, just from looking around the course, is I think all the teams are having a problem with the foursomes format at the moment on this course. They're certainly not scoring freely. That's for definite.
No, they're not, and normally I know the scores are consistent, but they're all only 2 or 3 under par, and literally, if you were a gent on your own going out for singles and you shot 3 under par, even in St. Anne's, as difficult as it is, I think you'd be a bit disappointed.
Just the Cork team coming down the home stretch in the foursomes now as they play the 14th. And that's a very good tee shot. But again, backspin is something you'll see an awful lot today from the Gents teams. And it's a pleasure to watch a ball backspinning from coming out of the sky and just going in the reverse direction.
Kieran Dunscombe. Local player, grew up literally a stone's throw from the course. One of the best players ever to play the game. John Cahill. It's another good ball down to 14.
Cork are playing with Clare today, aren't they?
They are. They're in the final pairing with Clare. They'll be under a bit of pressure to keep up with the Cork boys, but...
Oh, well. Great John Walsh putting on the 14th. Oh, it just fell left as it just caught the hole. Ray Murphy also on the 14th hole.
You can spot his swing a mile away. You can even see his reaction on the tee box there. He's not happy with that, and he's 8 foot from the hole. Admittedly on the wrong side, but 8 foot from the hole. John Cahill?
Oh, yes. Lovely strike.
John's a very streaky player. If he gets going at all, he's impossible to stop. Thomas Lynch. Now that's a tough putt. That's going to move all over the place and coming down the hill as well. Be very tricky. See how low...
The speed, and it still went past the hole on the right.
Yeah, it looked like he barely touched that.
The Meath team are doing well. Meath are the current Leinster champions, provincial champions, and they're in the clubhouse leading on 11 under.
Excellent stuff. Ray Murphy on 15, just misses.
Well, the first round of the Gents Intercounty Championship 2010 has now been completed here at the St Anne's course in Cork. The situation is as follows. The favourites and holders of this title for the last 7 years, Cork, are in the lead on 12 under par. They're closely followed by Meath, the current Leinster champions, who are on 11 under. Right behind them are two teams on 8 under, the Dublin team and the Limerick team, closely followed by Kerry on 7 under par.
Well, Frank, it's all very tight, isn't it?
It's
shot at the moment.
Unbelievably tight, Alan. I'm very surprised how close the scoring is. Cork to only be leading by one shot is a bit of a surprise. Not that it's a surprise they're only leading by one shot, but the scoring, I just think it's very, very poor.
Do you not think that's the difficulty of the course? I mean, it's a credit to St Anne's that they have the course set up in such a tight and hard fashion, and that hitting every second ball prevents you getting into a routine. And this is the first time that all these players have had to play in this format. Is it not understandable that the scores are going to be a little bit less than maybe they would be on another occasion?
I can understand it, Alan, but still, like I say, 12 under par is the leading combined score for 3 foursomes pairings. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody on their own shot 8 or 9 under par for 18 holes here now, and we're going to have a look at that. Limerick are going very well. Good chip there from Liam Donovan.
Yeah, they're lying in joint third at the moment after the foursomes. I suppose. What about Cork? I mean, obviously you might be biased being a Cork man, but would you think? I don't think they would be happy as a unit with just 12 under in here on this course. But history wouldn't be getting to them by any chance, or would that enter their minds at all?
I think they're their bottom line is they're still leading it. That's a great shot there by Ian. Bottom line is they're leading the tournament, so they're not in too bad a position. But I think that it's a little bit tight, and I think if somebody comes out and does very well in the singles, and especially at the starting pair, we could have a real battle on our hands here.
I think I mentioned this yesterday about the ladies and Kildare going out first, but now at this particular time, is it not an advantage if you're one of those teams that have started earlier than Cork to go out and try and get out and get that score in early, because you're already in the competition, because there's very little between the top 5 teams?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have a great chance there. Beardsley there with serious spin. Undeserved there. Paul O'Brien with a tough chip.
On the first, yeah. Yeah, that's a reasonable result from there now.
Left himself a little bit of work.
After a decent tee shot, George Beardsley found himself back down on the slope. But again, he leaves it below the hole, and I think players are very careful about where they're leaving the balls on this course today. They've got to leave most of their shots below the hole if they miss the hole.
They have to be careful with that. I mean, we've talked and shown earlier how much the putts break in various holes, so they've got to be very careful. Paul O'Brien now on the second. But I think a team... Get in.
Great effort.
Paul feels that one. I think if a team makes a good start, if they make a very good start, but they have to make a good start as a team, it's no point in just 1 or 2 players. They all have to do well.
Sean Goggins and Sean Downs walking up to the 5th hole. Sean Downs just short of the 5th hole. Playing into a stiff breeze today.
Yeah, the breeze isn't as tough as the ladies yesterday, but still...
Stiff enough.
I always view Cork City from up at the top of St Anne's, and it looks fantastic in the background there.
Great effort by Sean Goggins, and that is a great chip. That's another one for the Lows called.
Be interesting to see...
That spin is doing George Beardsley no good.
Not at all. Not at all. That's no way justice for that shot. Tipperary again, played a second. Oh, hit the pin. Lucky and unlucky. Mr. Webster. That's a good putt.
He deserved that too.
He did,
deserved
in
that
fairness.
birdie after the pitch.
Mark Miller on the fourth
On
hole.
the short fourth hole.
You see, Alan, the standard seems even better in the singles already. I think the players are getting into a rhythm.
Well, that's it. They're not hitting every second shot. That's what I think. I think pitch and putt is about rhythm, like most sports. And the problem with the format, the straightforward forcing format, is there's very little time to get any rhythm going. Stephen Murray on the second for Dublin.
That's a great shot.
That's a good shot.
A little bit far away. What do we do with the putt?
Well, he certainly had the line, just a
Yeah.
foot short. Still, he taps in for a safe par. George McGreal also putting on the second for Dublin.
This is for two. No, that's it.
a
That's
nice
a
one.
that's a reasonable start now from Dublin.
J.R. Krangle for Dublin. There's a player who's come to the real top of the game in the last couple of years and shows great promise. Has been very close to winning national championships in the last year or two, and there's probably a national championship in him.
Yeah, he's definitely shown himself to be the real deal. That's Derek Courtney for two. He's after getting the first as well, so that's 2 in a row for Derek. Smile there.
Certainly looks a happy man. Skinner Malone, 2 times national stroke play champion for Dublin. Oh, that's a good putt.
No, Alan,
That's good.
Dublin are making a real move here. They're really upping the tempo, especially on the front nine. We'll check the scores now in a moment.
Well, I presume it's a Dublin thing. I mean, Dublin aren't going to be frightened of any team. They've tremendous respect for how brilliant Cork are. But Dublin will fancy themselves in any intercounty championship.
John Cahill
That ball
on the
was up,
second.
Kieran Dunscombe also on the second.
Just view of the ball, a little short.
Still, it's on the surface. It's on the dance floor.
For Kieran, that might not be the best thing. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. Struggles sometimes with his putting. A good effort there though. Just ran on a little bit.
There's an excellent crowd out watching today's championship.
Kieran's
They really have turned out very well.
Achilles heel. He needs to do something with his putting. He's the best pitcher in the game by a mile, and it's sad to see some shots like that sometimes. Thomas Lynch, great player as well. On the second.
Yeah, nearly every putt coming down that slope on the second seems to be pulling off to the left.
Yeah, Alan, the situation is at the moment that Dublin have made a tremendous start to the front lines here in the tournament. They're really putting it up against Cork at the moment, and Cork are just playing behind them. It's a great shot by Dineen. Crowd very appreciative of that. But Dublin have started brilliantly. Derek Courtney is 6 under for the first 6 holes. I'll try to get a shot of him now in a moment. And you can't ask for any better than that.
And he's been well supported by his comrades on the Dublin team. John Ross Krangle is going well as well.
Yeah, John Ross is 7 under for the first 10 holes. That's John Walsh. That's class. He's going to be the backbone. Himself and Ray Murphy have got to be the backbone for this Cork team if they're going to do anything. But the rest of the Cork team now aren't exactly firing on all cylinders just yet. We could have a very interesting few minutes ahead of us, Alan.
Yeah, well, certainly that's what the crowd thinks. I think they're gathering to look at what should be a good run into this to the end of this championship.
Ray Murphy,
Last on the course is Ray Murphy.
the anchorman.
Another good shot. Safely onto the green. John Cahill on the short forward. Oh, that's a good shot.
Cork just not getting everything. How Billy Griffin from Clare shows how it's done.
Literally drained that putt.
I think that's called a slam dunk.
Slam dunk.
Kieran Dunscombe.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
that's more
good.
like after a 3 putt on the second to get a good putt on the third. Maybe that'll give him a bit of confidence. Thomas Lynch. John Walsh now on the third as well. Tricky shot the third.